Hi, team. This is George. I want to talk to you about user experience. This week, is in our discussion questions and everywhere else, we're going to be looking at how people are affected by our design, how people view our design, and what their thoughts are. Now, the key is we want to make it a good experience because we have to remember that we're teaching people. So, whatever we're building, whether it's fully automated training or whatever it may be, we're teaching people. They're learning the subject matter. We have to keep in mind people first sort of mantra. So we're going to take a look at the user experience map. And why do I care? Well, because our users, our customers come in and they may be a little skeptical. They can be anything else, but we want them to leave extremely happy. We want them to be an advocate for our course. So we want them to be like, wow, what a great experience. So that's how we could map this out. So every slide that you have, every color you use, every directional navigation, we should think of it not just from a technical standpoint of how things work, but how it interacts with the human experience. Because one of my favorite quotes is by Maya Angelou. At the end of the day, people will remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel. And this is very true because as we design this training, if all we're focused on is the technology, then guess what? We're missing the key because remember, we're teaching people and they're learning our material. So we want to make sure that the experience that we're delivering is an amazing experience. And the easiest way to do this, for me at least, you may have a better way of looking through this. I use what they call a 3D approach. It takes a look at all of our senses, see, hear, and how we interact with the device. So what are we seeing? What are we hearing? And how is that affecting my frame? And my first frame is my mental frame. So what does that do for me? Does it make sense? So that's one reason why in our storyboard we put consistent places for a navigation button, things like that, because the moment our user sees navigation buttons and things moved in different spots and things like that, it's like, oh, this is not logical. It doesn't make sense. Now they may not realize that's what they're thinking, but they're going to feel that at an emotional level. So that's going to be that how you made them feel. So if you have things all disjointed and it doesn't make sense of how everything's on the page, they get that feeling of basically uh, feeling separated from the course because remember there's transactional distance as well. So we want to use that feeling and that emotion to close that transactional distance. And the transactional distance is a distance between the learning and the learner. So when we're online, we have a lot of physical distance between us. And we want to close what we call that transactional distance from the learner to the curriculum. We want to close that by making them have certain feelings, not making them because you can't make them have a certain feeling, but by offering these certain design standards that create that emotional connection. And when it's an emotional connection, it doesn't mean that emotion in the sense of crying or anything else. It means an emotional connection for, hey, I can feel that. Like music. Music is very powerful. So oftentimes we're connected to that music because of the feeling that it gives us. So we want to think about the training we're creating from the same perspective. How can we create that connection and close that transactional distance? Because that is important. So this is just a thought as you're looking, because we're looking so much into user interfaces this week, and you're in the discussions. You're going to have other people looking and telling you what their thoughts are about your user interface and things like this. So take this time to think of it from a 3D approach. I'm not saying stop and redo anything, but I am saying just think from the senses. So that's your input, and then it's going to go through your frame of logic and your frame of emotion. So think of it on how it affects the learner, because remember, we're teaching people. People are learning the subject matter of the course. So we got to put people first and how that course affects them. So it's an interesting concept. Make with it what you will. And I look forward to the discussions this week. And I appreciate all the effort that everybody's putting into the projects and everything at this point. So by Wednesday, all feedback should be in. So if you don't have your feedback by Wednesday afternoon, please give me a text, give me an email, say, hey, I'm missing my feedback, because I want you to get that feedback quickly so you can put your best effort forward for your final project too. So I appreciate all that you're putting forward, and let's have a great week.